Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. As I write this, I realize that this is going to be already something you're going to hear in July. So I can't believe how fast time is flying. When I was thinking about the content for today, I came upon this statement that was such an inspiration. And the statement is, you exist, therefore you matter. And it brought me to thoughts about approval, being good enough, about everybody's concern about who judges you, who might abandon you, reject you, and how people process and work through that fear, or how they hold it, how they let that be a driver in their decision making, in their ability to have a high quality of life. You know, how do people really handle the fear of not being good enough and believing that they're not worthy? I saw something on Facebook. I love my Facebook because of these really lovely things. And I think it was a note from the universe, either that or Abraham Hicks, one or the other. And it said, don't you something like, can you imagine what a silly thought to think that you're unworthy? And I thought that, it sounds so simple, but to me it was profound, because the basis of the work that I do with my clients and the next book that I'm in the process of writing is all about how to increase your self-confidence, how to live boldly without apology and walking on a continued path, of searching for approval and validation, right? So the whole goal is to just be able to be in the truest version of yourself, knowing that that is just perfect. Too many people live lives where they base their worth on what others say about them and to them, as well as what happens outside of them. And I've been there, trust me, y'all. Spent so many years hinging my worth on other people's opinions. And it was so freaking painful. I mean, my God, it was like if somebody didn't like me, holy shit balls, who was I then, right? So I've been there, and it was never a comfortable place for me to be. It's a bottomless pit search that yields no positive outcome to be accepted by somebody, let alone everybody. I remember struggling with this really especially dating. Dating was hard. And especially at young ages, first of all, I was not taught how to date. I wasn't taught a really powerful attitude about how to date, how to be confident with myself, how to see it in a different way. What I realized is that, like we young girls, we hope and pray that boys will like us. And we carry that vulnerability with us through childhood. Unless somebody course corrects us and helps us put our focus in the right place instead of the painful bottomless pit that I mentioned to you before. And the right place is that it took me decades to realize this, y'all. So any of you struggling with dating, y'all need to open your ears, get all the cauliflower and broccoli out, clear all that nasty wax out, and hear me loud and clear. Dating is not one-sided. I needed to see if I was interested in somebody. I needed to see if they were good enough for me. I needed to learn how to vet the men that I dated so I could figure out if they were enough, not the other way around. What a powerful perspective shift, right? With every rejection and broken relationship, I felt damaged. It's like parts of me were chipped away and nobody's helping me figure out how to fix that. My self-worth kind of plummeted. And, I was like, by the time I was in my mid 30s, I was like, why was it that everybody else was finding somebody to be with? And I was eternally the eternal single chick, right? With a big bag of popcorn in my hand, shoving piece after piece of popcorn in my mouth, watching everybody else live the life I wanted to live. That pain was terrible. And I didn't have anybody else to help me out of that perspective. And I suffered. I suffered. I thought, what the fuck is wrong with me? Everybody's telling me I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, well, seriously? What difference does that make? Because clearly there's nobody showing up in my life. I'm not moving on, but everybody else finds somebody, right? Well, that question didn't get me far. Got me admitted into my amazing pity party, and that's pretty much about it. I wasn't taught how to course correct. I had to learn that on my own. And that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. It's one of the reasons why I'm so motivated to help women and men shift their mindset into something that makes sense, not something that's just punishing. So I am hell-bent on sharing my wisdom so that I can short circuit your pain and I can give you the quickest route to achieving what you want to achieve. So the philosophy of how to achieve and cultivate self-worth isn't anything close to some wildly famous theory that's changed the world at large, like Einstein's theory of relativity, or Edison developing the light bulb, or the theory of gravity. Nothing that big, y'all. It's a very simple concept. Once you master it, it will change the way you live your life. It does take practice, and it does take commitment not to lean into self-pity, which I did very often, and I was very unhappy. I'm going to talk about the process in a minute. It doesn't matter how you've grown up. If you've lived in a trailer with no running water, if you were born to privilege, you're a person who can pick and choose how you feel and how you would like your life to be. You just have to get sick and tired of placing the determination of your value and worth on everything and everyone outside of you. You will never get filled up. You will never feel good enough. You will never achieve what you want to achieve. And you will never pass on the sense of self-worth to your children and the people that you know if you don't have that shit handled in your life. The funny thing is that as you age, which is what I figured out, you begin to care less about all the shit that used to matter to you when you were younger, even if that span of time is 5 years. Life changes dramatically from 1 year to the next. So imagine by the time you're 40 or 50, if you are younger, and y'all are listening to this, if you're older, been there, done that, right? So imagine what life was, if you're 60 or 70, imagine what life was at 50 or before. What used to matter doesn't anymore. And the new things begin to take center stage and you become a different person. Unless you're like these people who are freaking record players and you choose to tell the same old story about yourself over and over and over again, as if there are no other options about who you are. One day I was speaking with a gifted friend who shared with me like the gist of her talk to a group of people who came to listen to her channel her guides. She said that they emphasize how our souls are already perfect, but that we feel imperfect and feel the need to heal ourselves constantly because in human form we have these flaws that we seem to be that we seem to kind of think are mutually exclusive to our soul. But that distinction was very, very helpful because our soul is already perfect. But when we create this mutual exclusivity between our soul and our humanity or our humanness, we do this. We tend to believe that our imperfections are actually flaws, and that these flaws are who we are at our core, which is not true. Who we are at our core is perfect and whole. We inhabit our human bodies as vehicles to learn what we need to learn for our perfect souls to expand. not to heal. Every time that we complete an incomplete experience, whether it's karmic, whether it's from past lives, whether it's ending, whatever it is, ending a pattern in our current lives, our souls aren't healing. All they're doing is they are expanding. And here's the deal, y'all. This is what was so powerful to me, and it's just occurred to me right now, is that when we expand, the closer we get to love. And the closer we get to love, the closer we get to God. Right? No healing necessary. So we talk about all this healing bullshit. No, you know what it is? I'll tell you what, because I have suffered a shit ton in my life with different things. And it's not about I got to heal that part of me because I'm good. It's making a decision to stop practicing certain ways of thinking, certain ways of being, certain ways of feeling. That's all that it is. I promise you that. You're good enough. You got to stop thinking a particular way that allows you to feel like you're a piece of shit, not good enough. That's what comes down to. And the reason why I know this, A, because I've lived it, and B, I've been teaching this for almost 30 years. Okay? Our flaws, our imperfections are not who we are at our core. We are perfect souls who are ever expanding to be in a place and live from a place of love. And when we live from a place of love, nothing anyone does will cause us to think less of ourselves or value ourselves less or even piss us off. When we come from a place of love, we realize that people have their own stuff going on, and that has nothing to do with us. It doesn't. So how could you not have compassion for somebody that, even though, like it happened to me this morning, I had somebody who scheduled a consultation 9 o'clock in the morning. I confirmed, and yesterday we confirmed, guess what? She never showed up. And then 30 minutes later, she is letting me know that she went on a walk and left her phone. Even though she then said that she had, made sure that she cleared her morning. And so, it was like one of those things. Initially, I kind of got pissy pants about it. And then I was like, what am I reacting like this for? This is a lesson for me to have a little bit more compassion for people, because not everybody's so damn punctual like me, and not everybody keeps every appointment. I've screwed up. So Janis, God, give her some room here. So I was like, I don't need to act like arrogant. Our time is just as valuable, both of our time. So I reached out to her. I'm like, okay, I get it. Totally. Let's figure it out. And it felt good to be that, instead of being all, arrogant and with my ass on my shoulders about it. I didn't like that about myself. And so what I did is I just chose to respond differently. Have compassion. Okay? So the fact that you exist is simply because you're such a beautiful and perfect being already. And the challenges that you face and the people that come into your life are there for your growth and expansion, but also for their growth, right? So it's always a two-way street when it comes to the people who show up in your life. Each of you is a student and a teacher. I know this for sure. It's just that learning tends to take place either at a slower pace or at a later date when you become open to the lesson. When you become obsessed with how other people rate you and think of you, accept you, you get lost. And you lose focus on what truly matters. And what truly matters, promise you, is only your ability to create your own value. You determine your worth, not anybody else. Don't give that power away anymore to any circumstance or person. The kind of self-worth that you can develop for yourself, like I have, I had to work my ass off to get here too, is something that can't be rivaled. Nobody can take what I've earned for myself. Nobody can take that self-respect away. ever. I don't care what kind of conditions I'm in or what anybody's doing to me. I know what I've created for myself. When you want to feel that. So wherever your focus goes, energy flows. Choose what you focus on rather than letting others dictate that for you. You're perfect and whole and great already. As a human being, you're given the divine right to course correct whenever something isn't working for you. So if you're telling me that you can't change your life, I'm calling bullshit on that. And I can do it. I got the credibility to do it because this is what I do for a living. So if I'm calling bullshit on that with you, then you better get off your ass and change your life and go be happy. Find out what that means. Find the people that can help you. You are already an amazing human being. It's just that your life, you want your life to be able to reflect that. As a human being, you're given the divine right to course correct whatever isn't working for you. And you can always tell what those things are when you feel anything other than happy and content with your life. You know what you want to change. Sometimes we don't know the how. But I'll tell you this, the very first step is letting the universe know that you're ready, really ready to change. Be in charge of your emotions and your destiny, because here's the dealio. Because how you manage your emotions determines the thoughts you have. And the thoughts you have determine your decisions. And your decisions determine your destiny. Now, how's that for some rock-solid self-worth advice? Hope this has been helpful. I love you. Thank you for listening. Reach out if you have any questions or comments, anything you'd like me to talk about. I'd love to hear what you'd like to hear about. And I hope you have a blessed day, a wonderful week, and always live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.